You work hard, you put in the hours, you do everything you were told to do. So why does it still feel like you're barely getting ahead? For millions of people, the problem isn't laziness or lack of effort. The real issue is that hard work alone doesn't always lead to financial progress, especially when income, expenses, and financial habits are working against you. Many people stay stuck in a cycle where more effort doesn't translate into more freedom, leaving them feeling exhausted but still financially stressed. In this video, we're uncovering the real reasons you can work incredibly hard and still feel broke, and the mindset shifts that can help change that. Your income is growing, but your lifestyle is growing even faster. This is one of the most silent killers of personal wealth, and most people never even notice it happening to them. You get a raise, and that feels great, but then you get a slightly nicer car. You move into a bigger apartment because you feel like you deserve it. You start eating out more often and ordering delivery on nights you could have cooked. You upgrade your phone before the old one even stops working. Each individual decision seems completely reasonable in the moment. You earned that raise, so why not enjoy it? But together, those decisions eat up every single extra dollar before it ever has a chance to work for you. Economists call this lifestyle inflation, and it is the invisible force that guarantees your expenses will always rise to meet your income, no matter how much that income grows. This is why someone earning $30,000 a year can feel just as financially stressed as someone earning $100,000. Both of them have built a lifestyle that costs exactly what they bring home, and neither one has anything left over at the end of the month. The fix is not to deprive yourself. It is to be deliberate. Every time your income goes up, commit to saving or investing a portion of that increase before adjusting your spending at all. Lock it away before your brain gets used to spending it. That one habit, done consistently over years, is what separates people who actually build wealth from those who just earn more and spend more until the day they retire with almost nothing saved. You are only selling your time, and time has a hard ceiling. Here is something that almost nobody talks about in school or in most workplaces. There are only so many hours in a day. When your only plan for earning more is to work more hours, you have already hit your ceiling without knowing it. You can clock overtime. You can pick up a second job or a weekend gig. But eventually, there is no more time left to sell, and you hit a wall that no amount of effort can push through. The people who break free from that cycle are not just working harder than everyone else. They are building things that continue working even when they are not. That might mean investments that pay dividends, a small online business that generates income while they sleep, a rental property, royalties from a book or course or piece of content that keeps earning long after it was created. These are called income streams, and the more of them you build over time, the less dependent you become on any single one of them. This does not mean you need to quit your job tomorrow. It means you should start planting seeds now, even if those seeds earn almost nothing at first. The goal is to gradually build something that grows independent of your time. Because years from now, the difference between people who feel financially free and people who still feel broke often comes down to one thing: who started building additional income early and who kept waiting. You were never taught how money actually works. Think about how much time you spent in school. Over a decade of your life, learning algebra, memorizing dates, writing essays. But did any of it teach you how compound interest works? Did anyone explain the real difference between an asset and a liability? Did a teacher ever walk you through how a credit card company profits from your minimum payments, or why keeping all your savings in a basic bank account slowly loses value because of inflation? For most people, the answer is no. And that is not an accident or an oversight. Financial literacy simply is not a standard part of most educational systems. So the majority of people enter adulthood completely unprepared to manage money strategically. They learn through expensive trial and error. They rack up debt in their 20s because nobody explained interest rates clearly. They keep money sitting idle in low-yield accounts while inflation quietly chips away at its purchasing power year after year. They have no idea what an index fund is, or why it matters, or how to start investing even with a small amount. The good news is that none of this knowledge is complicated once it is explained clearly. You do not need a finance degree. Start with understanding how interest compounds and what that means for your debt and your investments. Learn what a budget actually is and why it is not a punishment but a plan. Understand the difference between spending on things that lose value the moment you buy them versus putting money into things that grow over time. Financial knowledge compounds just like money does. The sooner you start learning, the more powerful that knowledge becomes. Debt is keeping you stuck in a hole you keep making deeper. Debt is often described as a financial tool. When used carefully and with a clear purpose, it can help people acquire assets that have the potential to increase in value over time. For example, taking a loan to buy a home or starting a business can sometimes lead to long-term financial growth. In these cases, the borrowed money is used to build something that may generate income or increase in value in the future. However, the type of debt that most people carry today is very different. Consumer debt, such as credit card balances, buy now, pay later purchases, and personal loans for non-essential items, usually works against long-term financial stability instead of supporting it. This kind of debt is especially harmful because it is often tied to things that quickly lose their value. Electronics, fashion items, expensive gadgets, or luxury purchases may feel exciting in the moment, but their value declines almost immediately after they are bought. Yet the payments for those items continue long after the excitement fades. Over time, this creates a cycle where people are constantly paying for things they no longer use, need, or even remember buying. In many households, this silent drain on income becomes one of the biggest barriers to building savings or investing for the future. The trap of consumer debt usually begins in a simple and familiar way. Someone buys something they want but cannot comfortably afford at that moment. Instead of waiting and saving for it, they place the purchase on a credit card or choose a payment plan. At the time, it feels manageable because the minimum payment each month appears small. But as time passes, other bills and expenses compete for attention. Instead of paying off the balance quickly, the person continues making only the minimum payment. You spend on what looks wealthy instead of what builds wealth. There is a massive difference between looking rich and actually being rich, and our culture has done a brilliant job of blurring that line. We associate wealth with visible things, luxury cars, designer labels, the newest phone, expensive vacations on social media. And so people spend money chasing those signals, even when they cannot truly afford them, because it feels like how successful people are supposed to live. The reality that most people never see is this: a huge number of people who appear wealthy are carrying serious debt to maintain that appearance. And many people who are quietly building genuine, lasting wealth live in ways that look completely ordinary from the outside. They drive used cars. They shop without caring about brands. They skip the expensive dinners and put that money to work instead. They have made peace with looking average because they understand that every dollar spent performing wealth is a dollar that cannot grow into actual wealth. This is one of the hardest mindset shifts to make because it runs against everything we are shown in advertising and social media every single day. But it is one of the most important. Stop spending money to impress people who are not paying your bills. Stop letting comparison drive your financial decisions. The goal is not to look successful to people around you. The goal is to build real freedom, and those two things often require completely opposite approaches to money. You have no clear plan, so you react instead of decide. Most people handle their finances in a reactive way instead of taking a proactive approach. This means they simply respond to money as it comes and goes rather than planning ahead for how it should be used. For many individuals, the process is very simple. Income arrives, bills are paid, and whatever money remains is spent on daily needs, entertainment, or unexpected expenses. While this may feel normal, it often leads to a lack of control over personal finances. Without a clear strategy, money disappears quickly, and people are left wondering where it all went by the end of the month. A major problem with reactive financial management is the absence of a structured plan. Many people do not write down financial goals or create a system to track their income and expenses. As a result, they do not have a clear destination for their money. When there is no defined goal, every dollar simply flows out toward the next immediate expense. Over time, this pattern prevents savings from growing and makes it difficult to build long-term financial stability. In other words, money drifts away little by little without creating any lasting benefit. However, creating a financial plan does not need to be complicated or overwhelming. The first and most important step is understanding your actual financial situation. This begins with identifying your numbers clearly. You need to know exactly how much money you earn each month and where every portion of that money is being spent. When people begin tracking their spending for the first time, the results can be surprising. Small purchases that seem harmless, like takeout meals, coffee runs, or online impulse buys, can accumulate into significant amounts over time. In addition, many people forget about subscriptions that quietly charge their accounts every month, slowly draining their finances without them noticing. Once you gain a clear understanding of your financial habits, you can begin setting meaningful goals. These goals might include saving a certain amount of money each month, investing regularly, or paying off debt in a strategic order. You may also decide to build an emergency fund to protect yourself from unexpected expenses such as medical bills, car repairs, or job loss. Planning ahead for the next 1, 3, or 5 years can provide a clear direction for your financial decisions. When you have defined goals, your mindset around spending begins to change. Instead of reacting to every expense that appears, you start making intentional choices about how your money is used. Each purchase is evaluated based on whether it supports or slows down your financial goals. This shift, from reacting to money to actively directing it, is one of the most powerful changes a person can make in their financial life. Over time, this intentional approach can lead to greater stability, stronger savings, and a much clearer sense of financial control. You are waiting for a big break instead of building small habits. One of the most common and quietly damaging financial beliefs people carry is the idea that one big event is going to change everything. A massive raise, a viral business idea, an investment that explodes in value, the right opportunity showing up at the right time. People spend years in a holding pattern, waiting for that breakthrough, while neglecting the small everyday decisions that are actually what build wealth over a lifetime. Real financial progress is almost always boring. It is investing a fixed amount every single month without exception. It is saying no to one unnecessary purchase per week because you have a bigger goal in mind. It is reviewing your spending at the end of each month and adjusting your plan. It is automating your savings so the decision is already made before you can talk yourself out of it. None of this is exciting. Done consistently over years, these small habits compound into something that genuinely changes your life. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to start. Stop telling yourself you will get serious about money once you earn more, or once life settles down, or once you have enough to make it feel worth it. Start now with whatever you have available. Even small amounts invested consistently over time beat larger amounts invested sporadically every single time. The best financial decision you can make today is not to find the perfect strategy. It is simply to begin, and then to keep going. Feeling broke despite working hard can be incredibly frustrating, but understanding the patterns behind money, spending, and income growth can completely change the outcome. Once you start focusing on how money flows and how it grows, instead of just how hard you work, your financial path can look very different. What do you think is the biggest reason people feel broke even when they work hard? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos about money, mindset, and building a smarter financial future.